we reset. Let's see if. Yeah, there it is. Um, I don't know what happened. It just said it reconnected. I was like, what? Okay. Um, hey, Ed. We're going to see who we get back in the chat. I had had an error just like the old days. Oh, man. What is happening, guys? So let's sign into the chat. There we go. Yeah, all right. I think I figured out the lighting now. Let me see if I can figure out the you weren't here for the first stream? The first stream that messed up? My hair's every which way right now. Hey mama, how you doing? Oh. Well, good luck and have fun with the stargazing. That should be very cool. Um we're just going to get right into it and start telling stories. I'm well. Um let's see if we can do this. This one's called A Voice in the Dark. Yeah, I love stargazing. I was well into spending my Friday night as I typically would, staying up most of the night playing games and looking at stupid meme sites when the room went dark. My phone suddenly illuminated on the desk where I had just plugged it in and realized the power had gone out. I cursed softly as the screen went off. I knew the phone hadn't charged nearly long enough for me to use it as a light for any length of time. And I was relatively certain we didn't have any actual flashlights around. Just as I was wondering if it would be worth trying to grope around the dark for a lighter, I heard my roommate's door open across the hall. There was a brief shuffle of movement. Then I heard my own door open. Hey, power's out, huh? I considered giving a smart-ass answer to this asinine question, but ultimately decided it wasn't worth it. Yeah, it seems like it. We don't have a flashlight, do you? In the near pitch darkness, I felt and heard him move further into my room. More than I watched him. Nah, can you use your phone to see? I had just plugged it in because it was almost dead. I should probably leave it alone just in case we actually need to call somebody. How about yours? Dead. So what do we do? I sighed inwardly. Jake was a good roommate. He always had his half of the rent on time and didn't leave messes in the common areas or use my stuff without asking. If I told him to stop doing something like leaving his coat on the couch Instead of taking it to his room, he stopped doing it. But he was not the brightest guy and often looked at me to explain things or figure them out for him. Don't get me wrong, I liked him. But sometimes I started to feel more like his dad than his roommate. Well, I have to assume somebody in the building who doesn't have an almost dead phone has already called the super about the power. Now we just wait. There's not really much else we can do. Oh, okay, well, can't we just hang out until it comes back on? It's so dark. Again, it was not hard to respond flippantly to Jake's stating the obvious, but it was true. There was really nothing to do until the power came back on, but sit and talk. It seemed foolish to go offending him when he was my only companion for God knew how much time. Sure, why not? Go ahead, sit down. I already sat down. I was surprised to realize his voice had in fact moved to where my bed was in the room, even though I hadn't heard any movement. Oh, cool. So how did you notice the power had gone out? I thought since you're home you must have work in the morning. Generally, unless he was scheduled for work, Saturday morning Jake would spend Friday nights out with his girlfriend. Like Jake, she was not terribly bright, but sweet and clearly devoted to him. And I had been dreading the day that he would say that the two of them were moving in together, thus meaning I would have to seek out a new roommate. I hated most people on principle, so the idea of having to find another roommate I could stand to live with was daunting, to say the least. I woke up 'cause it's so dark. It's never been so dark in the room before. Naturally, this statement confused me greatly. I wondered if I'd heard him right. What? You woke up 'cause it got darker? Yeah, because of the dark. It still didn't think he was making a bit of sense. But he had just woken up after all. His initial response was yes, however, oddly unnerved me. Jake had been my roommate for over 2 years, and I felt sure that in all this time I had never given an affirmative response that wasn't yeah or uh-huh. Furthermore, we had had power outages before, so his assertion to it had never been so dark in his room before didn't seem to add up. Then I remembered that he had recently gotten, or rather his girlfriend had gotten for him, some blackout curtains for his room to block out the sun when he needed to sleep during the daytime. If he had those pulled, they were probably blocking out any small amount of light that may have filtered in from the outside. Nonetheless, it seemed bizarre that it being especially dark had somehow woken him. No, I don't want to go back to sleep. Let's talk, Dan. Unnerved, was steadily progressing to downright freaked out. Jake was naturally laid back, an easygoing type of guy. So to him suddenly to use such a forceful and aggressive tone, I guess I read that wrong. To use an to use a forceful and aggressive tone was disturbing to me. Even worse, however, was him calling me Dan. One of the only habits I had been unsuccessful in breaking, Jake, of calling me Danny. Eventually, I had just given up and allowed it. I tried to tell myself he was probably just tired. That was the reason for his uncharacteristic behavior. It dawned on me that I had been much readier to accept the explanation if I could actually see him. As dark as it was in my room, even with the small amount of light coming from the distant street lamp, I could barely make out his silhouette on my bed, just a black, vaguely man shape in the darkness. There was a moment's silence before Jake's voice responded, now in a conciliatory, decidedly more Jake-like tone. So what do you prefer to be called, isn't it? So you said before. I can't fully describe the thrill of horror I felt as I realized that whomever or whatever was speaking to me was backpedaling. I was certain now that this wasn't Jake, and certain that whoever it was knew he had shown his hand a bit, and now was desperately trying to return to acting like Jake. The tone was good, unsure, almost apologetic. That was very much like Jake. The wording, however, was all wrong. There was another problem. I haven't mentioned that in over a year. Another pause. I was taking all of my willpower to not jump up from my chair, whether to confront the imposter or to run from him. I wasn't sure. I think both the desperate, lingering hope that this really was Jake, as well as a notion that it wasn't, was in my best interest to keep playing along, kept me rooted to my seat. Oh, haven't you? Sorry. I guess I'm kind of tired. I can call you Dan, though, if you want. I couldn't take it anymore. This wasn't Jake. I was beyond sure of it now. I jumped up out of my seat. Who the hell are you? I had only a second to reconsider the wisdom of choosing confrontation over fleeing as the imposter. Answered quickly, this time in an appropriate tone of alarm. What do you mean I'm Jake? The fuck you are. Tell me who you really are. I'm Jake, it's me, Danny, really. Why don't you believe me? Because I can't fucking see you, and you're not acting like Jake. You aren't Jake. Who the fuck are you? I'm Jake. I know you can't see me. Hey, wait, you said your phone wasn't quite dead, right? Let the screen come on just long enough to see my face. You really see me, Danny. This gave me pause. The voice in the dark was now sounding very conceivingly like a frightened and confused Jake, and had quickly suggested I use the light source to prove my its identity. I was starting to feel increasingly foolish and chagrined at my paranoid freakout, but still, I had to be sure. I turned to reach for my phone, where I knew it was still sitting, plugged into the inert wall socket. I picked it up, and the time appeared in white, causing a minuscule amount of illumination. It was about to unlock it. It started ringing. Jake calling. I didn't turn. I slid my finger to the little green icon in a kind of surreal haze of disbelief. Hello? Hey, Danny, I forgot my key again. Can you come let me in? Jake? Yeah, it's Jake. Hey, is the power out? It's all dark. The phone went dead. Hey, how's everybody doing? My hair was being all weird, so I pinned it back. How's everybody doing? Hopefully y'all like that story. Let's see what else we got. Once again, that story is this one right here. If y'all want to go ahead and give that some votes, sure they appreciate it. This one's called I Can't Breathe. God, I gotta get that ad blocker. Let me do that real quick. Do 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 do. It happens. All right. We're good now. We're not getting crazy pop-ups. Yeah, I hate when that happens, Yandere. I feel like there's too much saturation in my image. Let's see if we can fix that. That's a little better. I don't know about for y'all, but let's see. Let's turn the contrast. Oh, don't change that. Alright. British cartoon horror. Jessica Taylor. That's one of my very favorite books. In addition to that book, you might want to read. It is called. See, there's 14 right there. I don't know if you can see it, but. Oh, it's at an autofocus. Let me fix this. There you go. The Fold. Oh, wait. Yeah, you. Oh, jeez. There we go. You want to read The Fold? Um, I don't really get a whole lot of scary books anymore because there's just not that many terrifying books. Um, Shadow on the Stairs is a pretty good one. I mean, I do the Audible thing. Um, But yeah, I love Peter Klein's. Yeah, Ray Porter. Yeah, have you tried The Fold? Um, you might want to read that one if you read 14. Or listen to it or whatever. Um, Trust me. Damn moustache. I gotta get back to curling it again. We'll get it. Yeah, get that one. You started reading horror manga. Brandon Jackson Vlogs. How are you doing, my friend? Let's see what you got here. Oh, you got some videos up. Well, right on. Let me know how you like it. It's really good. Um, yeah, I've listened to 14 probably 4, 5, 6 times. I absolutely love that story. I think it would make a really cool movie. Yeah, that's definitely one of my favorites. How did you get the join button next to your name? How did you do it? Well, um, I almost did it. Let's join and find out. Just kidding. Oh, no, no, so I got when I got monetized, I had hit 1,000. I've since dropped a little bit, but I am monetized. But my channel's not just entertainment, but it's also gaming. So I guess they either decided that the gaming portion is because I get monetized or members, or that they're just trying the feature on me. Yeah, Ed did. That's right. And Dark Fruit Dolls. Quite a few people. Having delicious cheeseburgers from Bradford. All right, well let's oops, close that. Didn't mean to. Let's do another story, huh? We're on a roll here. Get me all excited talking about books. Yeah, I know. 9.95. You know, it's playing all that BDO. I lost probably 15 subscribers, 20 subscribers. They don't like the Vigi games. But yes, please, more stories. This one's called I Can't Breathe. Let's give you guys the link. Hmm. If I can find it. I had it a minute ago. There it is. You use me as background. Yeah. Can you read out the about section from my channel? I don't mind if you want to have a look at it. Stream. Hello, my name is Brandon Jackson. This is my autistic life. I've been making content on YouTube since 2007. I recently had achieved 1,000 plus subscribers and over half a million views, but due to difficulty with reading and processing information, I was unable to clearly read the terms on a software update and it wiped my channel. I'm trying to convert the channel into a business one so I could change my name, etc. However, this means I ended up losing all of my content, hence starting this new channel. That's terrible, bud. You started the William F. Forstichen series? Alright, well. Yeah, I definitely don't play with any of my AdSense or YouTube settings too much. I've heard so many horror stories. I'm not sure of that series. I'll have to check it out, Lauren. Um, well, let's do this story. Ooh. The story's called I Can't Breathe. I never know when it will hit me, but it's the scariest experience I ever go through. The feeling is akin to a giant rock suddenly falling on top of me. I am completely helpless, unable to move or even speak. I want to cry out and scream for help, but it's like my lips have been sealed shut with glue. The only movement I'm allotted is with my eyes as they dart around the room looking for whoever is holding me down or what. But the worst of it is, for the first few moments, I can't breathe. I had an episode like this on and off again as far back as my early teenage years. Part of me even used to believe that I have to get used to them when I was younger. But my developing mind simply blocked out those times they occurred as to not cause me traumatic damage as I grew older. Either way, they still give me trouble to this day, even at 26 years of age. Don't get me wrong, it's not like this happens every night, or once a week, or even once a month. If any given year, I can count on one hand the number of times I have this living nightmare. They happen so rarely, in fact, that I often go weeks without even thinking about it. Only when it happens to me, I'm stuck for weeks at the time, worried that I'll lock up in my sleep again. Or have another instance that occurred 2 years ago, which I considered to be the scariest night of my life. That night, I wasn't sure if I was simply having an episode or if someone or something was trying to kill me. About 2 years ago, I found myself in sort of a limbo when it came to any sense of direction I wanted to go in my life. I had dropped out of college that spring, unsure of whether I wanted to return to finish my degree or not. I had just started a new job after walking away from a company that I had poured 3.5 years of my life into, so I was on shaky ground as I attempted to prove my worth. On top of that, my boyfriend and I had just broken up with each other, but we had chosen to remain friends and roommates. Those first few weeks of sleeping in a bed alone were some of the most depressing nights of my life. Shortly after I had moved out of sharing a room with my ex and into my own house, I had an episode that startled me awake exactly 2:47 a.m. I knew this because my eyes shot open. The alarm clock that I set up across the room, so as I had to get out of bed to turn it off, shone brightly the time in the bright red LED light. Once again, I was unable to move, speak, or breathe. It only lasted for about 15 to 20 seconds, on the short end of the spectrum compared to the ones I had before. This one was terrifying to me, however, because I hadn't had an occurrence like this alone for quite some time. I never told my ex-boyfriend what I went through since it happened very rarely. He was dead asleep that night, at night. And since I'm unable to speak or move when it occurs, there would be no point in giving him ways to tell if I'm having a spell or not. It was something I internally went through when they happened. But having someone else in bed with me gave me a sense of comfort when the attack struck. Now, alone in a futon with nothing but an alarm clock to keep me company, I suddenly felt the weight of loneliness drop on top of me, weighing me down much like a psychological rock, crushing me at night. I had decided the next day to seek help from my doctor. I'd signed up for insurance through my employer, and part of the benefits included free diagnostic checks. I scheduled an appointment and saw him later that afternoon after I clocked out from work. We went through the usual steps from checking my tongue to hearing my heartbeat. Once everything was said and done, he wrapped his stethoscope around his neck. That's not how that works. And asked if there was anything else I wished to discuss with him. Oh, he put it. Never mind, I get it now. Normally, there was never anything I needed to discuss at all. I was a young man in excellent health. Save me for being overweight. This time, however, I nodded. The doctor gave me a concerned look. I went into detail of everything I go through when the attacks strike. From feeling like tons of weight has been dropped on me to the inability to breathe when it first flares up. Once I finished, he nodded, tapped his pen against the clipboard as he set it aside. He clasped his hands together and looked at me with understanding and a tinge of concern. He explained to me what I was experiencing was a phenomenon known as sleep paralysis. It occurs when a person is falling asleep or waking up, but the individual becomes locked in a paralyzed state, unable to move, speak, or react in any sort of way. He did say, however, that being unable to breathe for a short period of time was something he had never heard of before. When he asked how long I would be paralyzed for, I responded anywhere from 10 to 15 seconds to sometimes more than a minute. He sighed in relief. Although the breathing made him hesitant, it seemed the episodes were brief and few and far between. He had heard instances of people who would be paralyzed for over an hour. I hesitantly chuckled, saying, I had never had an episode last that long. Sadly, although it was nice to know these occurrences not only had a name to them, but that I wasn't suffering from them alone, the doctor simply said there was no current treatment to sleep paralysis from happening. When asked about my sleep patterns, I did reply with the usually difficult for me to fall asleep at night. Often, sleep paralysis affects individuals with insomnia, sleep deprivation, or someone with bad sleep cycles. He asked that we first try going to bed sooner, turn off all electronics an hour before bed to better simulate sleep. I agreed and left. Once the next few weeks, over the next few weeks, I went about my life as I normally did. I went to work on the weekdays, chatted with my ex for a few hours before retreating to my room to play video games before bed, and hung out with my friends or rested at home on the weekends. However, during some of the spare time, I decided to look further into the sleep paralysis. Now that I had a name for what's going on with me, I wanted to find out more about it. I ended up stumbling upon a few websites that hosted forums for people to gather and provide information and support those who sought others that had similar attacks. Most of these groups were rather small, but I did not English, but I did find a rather sizable group in the most unlikely of places. This particular website tailored to a more supernatural theory of sleep paralysis. Many in the group believed that the attacks came from the body's natural reaction to traumatizing events that had occurred in one's past. It was simply the subconscious retreating to a fight or flight instinct from the exposure to unexplained paranormal activity. Some believed their bodies locked up when they relived their encounters with beings from outer space. Others still theorized that demons forced them into sleep paralysis while they did torturous things to their minds and souls. Once the user on the site felt whenever he was attacked, he would hear voices telling him to give in to evil and let the soul descend to the depths of hell. I was intrigued, but I found the idea somewhat absurd. I was never much a believer in the superstition or urban legends. I simply passed off their theories and true stories as people putting answers to their own minds. I favored a more logical explanation from medical science. That theory that had facts to it, research, and was, for lack of a better term, natural. Then one night, almost 2 months from when I had visited the doctor, I'd gone to bed somewhat early since I was quite tired from yard work and my ex's side project of enclosing part of the back porch into a large laundry room. I was exhausted. I collapsed on my back into the futon. It didn't take me long to fall asleep. I'm not exactly sure how long I had been out, but at around 2 in the morning my eyes darted open. I looked around in an attempt to move, but once again my muscles were locked in place. My mouth was clenched shut. I knew in my head that I was going through another episode, but even finally, I had a name to these attacks. It did not erase the sense of dread that washed over me when I awoke in this state. I attempted to adjust my vision as best as I could to see the time on the alarm clock. Since I was still on my back, the angle made it hard to get a clear picture. I decided I would check the time once I broke free. I started my normal ritual of beginning to free myself from the paralysis. I put all my strength into attempting to free my fingers and toes from the lock position first. By now, I had gone about 10 seconds with no air. I knew that it wouldn't be long until my breathing would return, so I wasn't entirely worried. Then 10 seconds became 20, then 30. Suddenly, it dawned on me that I was unable to breathe, which I should have been able to long before now. I started to panic. I should have been able to breathe a long time ago. I have in the past been paralyzed for 30 seconds or even longer, but never had gone without breathing for this long when it happened. Something was very wrong. Only then did I notice a sharp constriction around my neck. Since I could not move my arms to check what was on my neck, I started darting my eyes around frantically to see if I could notice anything had actually fallen on top of me. As my pupils attempted to adjust to the dark in the room, I happened to glance directly in front of me. I noticed something odd. Something was out of focus. Then I realized I should have been looking at the largest window that faced me from the other side of my bed. Although it was always dark in my room, since most sources of light would keep me wide awake, I would still be able to see light from outside, street lights of my neighborhood, as they shined through the blinds. This time, I saw nothing but pitch black. Had the power been shut off? When I looked further left and right, I noticed a soft gleam off of to the sides. This rather faint glow seemed about the same shade of the lights that were supposed to be on the outside. I realized that the street lights were in fact on, but something was in the way of them. Something was blocking most of the light in my vision. Something was right in front of me, right on top of me. The weight was crushing, unbearable. The glow from the lights outside illuminated the form of a tall figure that was directly over me, and connected to the frame were two long objects that seemed to extend down in my direction. They were arms? Someone had their hands on me. Someone was choking me. My breathing was completely cut off. How long had they been on top of me? I frantically tried to move, but nothing seemed to let me break free from his hold. Like my entire body was tied down and crushed under the weight of 100 rocks. I wanted to push him off of me. I wanted to break free. Hell, I wanted to take in a breath. Things were starting to get fuzzy. I wanted to break free from this nightmare. I wanted to break free. Then, a waft of warm air blew across my face. It smelled foul, like rotten eggs. I felt a drop of liquid hit my cheek. My eyes darted up, and I suddenly felt what the true terror was. His face was right in front of me. He was breathing on me. He was drooling on me. He was killing me. Without thought or care, I shot forward, screaming at the top of my lungs, a loud, blood-curdling scream that echoed through my entire house. My arm shot forward, attempted to grab a hold of the man and pry him off of me. Would I escape? Would I be able to run? Would he come after me? Would My hands simply flew through the cool night air in my room. My mind was jarred back to here and now. In that moment, I realized that I could move. I was able to break free from whatever was holding me. Most of all, I could breathe again. He, it, was gone. I was startled by my room door slamming open, and my head quickly turned in its direction. There was a doorway. Was my ex? A look of fear across his face and a small revolver in his hand must have startled him awake with my screaming. He prepared to fight off whatever was attacking me. Whenever he saw I was alone but sweating, panting heavily, and looked quite disheveled, he asked me what the hell had happened to me. And in that moment, the sudden adrenaline rush I went through evaporated, and I began to sob uncontrollably, bringing my hands to my face. I then felt my ex sit next to me, putting his arms around me in an attempt to calm me down. I told him everything that night. From the fact that I suffered from sleep paralysis to the strange nightmare I had gone through just moments before. He sat there bewildered at what I had gone through, but feeling terrible that he could never do anything to help me. I shook my head, telling him that there's nothing anyone can do. I was simply glad that I made it through what was no doubt the worst form of sleep paralysis I had ever experienced. We moved to the bed in his room, where I slept for the rest of the night. I felt wonderful to sleep in a large, comfortable bed, to have a company through the night, even if that person was my ex. That didn't matter then. He was allowed to calm me down and drift off to sleep once more. I woke up alone in his bed the next day. I knew he had an early shift at 4 that morning, but I didn't expect to sleep through him getting out of bed, getting dressed, and driving off. I suppose the whole ordeal had been quite taxing to my mind and body, and I was just too tired to react to any sort of movement. I looked at the clock on his wall, 9:37 a.m., still early enough in the morning to enjoy what I suddenly realized was Saturday, my first day off for the weekend. I inhaled deeply, reaching my arms out in a long stretch before exhaling loudly and climbing out of bed. Whatever my mind had created last night was no doubt the scariest thing I had ever gone through. Part of my thoughts drifted to that website dealing with demons and spirits. Part of me wondered if it was what I had experienced, some supernatural being attempting to choke the very life from me. I scoffed loudly, pushing those thoughts aside. It was sleep paralysis, no doubt, and I somehow became frantic and paranoid since my breathing had returned as soon as I had hoped, and thus conjured up an explanation to my prolonged paralyzed state. It was over now, and there was no need to worry about it any more than I needed to. I walked to the bathroom to relieve myself. Then I checked my reflection in the mirror. I would soon walk to the kitchen, fix me a bowl of cereal, and spend the rest of my day relaxing, putting the events of last night behind me, and starting at what would be a lazy, game-fueled weekend. But something in the mirror caught my attention. Something about me was different. Then, when it dawned on me what it was, all the color drained from my face and my skin went cold. Around my neck were deep blue bruises in the shape of two massive hands. Jesus, that's a long one. How's everybody doing out there? There is not a lot of people in here. Let me see if I can fix this. Let me see if I can fix this. Yeah, you just heard part of the stream. Brandon, we could probably talk tomorrow, if that's okay with you. Vapes, good old vapes. You're doodling. I always love your doodles. Oh, this doodle's hard. Oh, you said the magic words. We got the Burt's Bees right here. Just gonna put it on our lips. Mm. Mm-mm. Just like Mama used to make. Let's see here. What stories can we find? The Argentinian incident. Too much detailing. Ah. Your power's out? Ouch. I'm sorry to hear that. Hi, doggy. Come here. Misty. There's nothing there. You can come here. There's nothing up there either. You scared of something? Come here. Misty. Damn dog's scared of me. There's nothing behind me either. Just stopping by to say hello and give a thumbs up. Aw, Emmy, won't you stay for a story? Move your profile picture. I can't. Into the darkness behind you. Are you talking about that guy? That's my curtain. A Bedeli's family villa. We're trying to find some stories. Let's see what we can find. Hmm. Too long. Incorporeal. You mean this guy? Or this guy? Do you have a ritual, Jay? Oh, I guess you can't post a link. The red glowing eyes. If there's someone back there with red glowing eyes, that's my guard demon. He's good. He's a good demon. He protects me. Here's one. This one's called A Warning. I'm doing this for you and for Mike too, I guess. Though I don't think there's much I can do to help him at this point. I suppose I should provide some background information first. I'm a sophomore in a fairly good university in Boston. No, not MIT or Harvard, but still one of that's a bit of a chore to get into. My freshman year, I had the option to live in honors housing and decided to roll with it. After all, at least the people would be interesting. Whatever arcane algorithm they used to process roommate requests took in my preference and spat out the name of my future roommate, Mike. Just another random honors kid from St. Louis. The two of us got along fine for the most part of freshman year. My enjoyment of Miley Cyrus notwithstanding, and so we decided to room together sophomore year as well. Now, Mike had always been a pretty obsessive guy. He tended to bounce around in his interests. One week, he would devour entire series of anime, only to later start watching random online episodes of Mystery Science Theater 3000, and then began to work his way through the archives of the hottest new webcomic. And of course, like any real obsessive, he would keep me posted on his latest craze. I humored him. What else are roommates for? One day, earlier this week, he started telling me random scary stories. You know, those random things you find on message boards. I think his main source ended up being some site called Creepypasta. I never understood why pasta would be creepy, but whatever. I had heard about a med student eating an arm, or someone being autopsied alive, or some random YouTube video that will drive you insane. We usually had a good laugh about them. The third day of his obsession, however, things got weird. He threw a few more stories my way before hitting the sack, but something seemed a little off. His voice had a sharp edge to it. As the hour got later, his banter got more and more insane, as though we were talking just to stave off having to go to sleep. Eventually, I pointedly got into bed and rolled over, effectively ending any further chance at conversation. I wish I hadn't. I sleep like a log, and that night was no exception. I don't think I ever came close to waking. Usually, I can't remember any of my dreams. But the nightmare I had that night had been clear in my mind for days now. I dreamt I was trapped in a fog so dense I couldn't see my own hand in front of my face. The damp air sent chills down my spine. I could hear muffled screams in the distance. There didn't seem to be any words, just guttural shrieks of pain. Instantly, don't ask me how, I recognized the screams as Mike's. I tried my best. Hang on, I lost it. I tried my best to run to it, but my feet just slid through the fog. I couldn't get any real traction on the ground, if there indeed was any ground. The screams got further away and more indistinct. I thought I could still tell they were Mike's eventually. They faded to nothing and I woke up. And ever since, the last trace of Mike was gone from the room. Nope. And every last trace of Mike was gone from the room. Everything. His laptop, his sheets, the official zombie survival guide poster on his wall, the heap of trash he let accumulate on his half of the windowsill, everything. A thick layer of dust coated his entire side of the room. Absolutely nothing on my side of the room had been touched, nor had any of his stuff in the bathroom, the kitchen, or the living room of our suite. Only in the bedroom had anything been taken. I couldn't believe it. I prayed it was a dream. I pinched my elbow until the skin was red, until my fingernails drew blood. When I didn't wake up, I dialed campus security, who quickly brought the Boston Police Department. I was immediately kicked out of the room so that they could go over everything. That's a fine tooth with a fine tooth comb. I think I must have looked. I think I must have been in shock. I felt completely numb, like nothing around me really mattered. I'd left my laptop in the suite's common room, so I used that to distract myself, or to try to, at any rate. When I popped open the laptop, however, a Word document stared at me. Its text was the following. I know this is stupid. I, I know this is stupid. I can't help but think how much I'll regret this in the morning. But for some reason, I'm genuinely scared, and I feel like this is the only way I can tell someone why. So here goes. Earlier, I was scouring the net for short horror stories, rituals, tales of scary places, and the like. I came across this warning. I guessed it was, I won't say what, I won't say where, for fear of you finding it for yourself. Suffice it to say, it sent chills down my spine. Something not much has managed to do. Still, as has become my habit, I just clicked on the hyperlink, going even further down the rabbit hole. The warning stayed with me, though, in the back of my head, just nibbling away, waiting until I would focus on something else to rear its ugly head. This was irrational, I knew. My mind was just playing tricks on me. Some ancestral fear had been played upon some age-old nightmare that was just a nightmare, no more and no less. But that did make the fear go away. Only when I looked at the clock to see how long I had until you got back that it dawned on me. I had passed the time allotted to me by the warning to stop what was coming. Any vagueness is out of concern for you, I promise. And then the real anxiety kicked in. My palms started to sweat. My eyes refused to stay closed for more than a second at a time. All of my hair stood on end, and I could feel my heart rate start to increase instantly. I knew that the warning had been real, and I had failed to heed it. My time was limited. It was about then that you got back from the TV station. I was so glad to see someone else. I can't imagine how I sounded. Finally, someone to fight off the dark with. A companion against now a terrifying night. But clearly, you weren't interested. Your yawns were a dead giveaway. You headed to bed, and I, to stave off sleep a little longer, decided to write this. Do me a favor. If I'm wrong, forget this ever happened. If I'm right, warn them. So that's what I'm doing. I'm warning you. Just be careful. The next time you go on an archive binge at creepypasta, or start checking the horror thread of your favorite discussion board, or even just try Googling creepy stories, if you feel a chill run down your spine at some warning you've never read before, you might want to heed it. If you decide not to, however, if you just click on the merry way, please tell Mike, I'm sorry, I couldn't get him from the fog. How's everybody doing? Is anybody alive out there? You think he means for you to put the face, the icon behind you so it looks like it's in the room? Oh, I see. I've had some ideas about stuff like that. I love this place. You're still freaked out from the last story, living with your ex? Shudders. I've never lived with a loved one like that, like a boyfriend or a girlfriend. I couldn't imagine. Did boy kill? Yes, he did. I'm just getting random stories here. Taco Casa is life. I mean, I wouldn't say life, but it's pretty good. You had a day? You're nodding off? I had a day. I will have a cookie. Is anybody else alive out there? Jessica, do you live in Texas? My favorite is ta- um, the super, the taco salad. So good. You just pour the, you just, I mean, I don't know if that's embarrassed to say. That's right, you live near me. That's, you should go to Taco Casa. At least try it. That's right, I'm in Plano. Go get some. It's good sweet tea. You're an Allen? Right on. Yeah, you're just a little north of me. That's too funny. Jay. Well, I mean, I had some today. But I can't leave the, oh, hells yeah, sweet tea. You can leave for food. I mean, just saying. But yeah. So I think I might sit and chat with y'all for a little bit before logging off. I'm probably going to have to take some melatonin to be able to fall asleep tonight. That sucks. I can go get some Advil PM. That stuff's good. Oh, there's goop on my... Smells nice, at least. They sell the gallon. It's in a bag. It's like a plastic, and it's good. I mean, you gotta really like sweet tea though. It's pretty sweet. Boop boop boop. We're all gonna wait till Jessica gets taco salad. I'm just saying, that's all I ever get. And it's not because they don't have a burrito that looks freaking phenomenal, but I just love taco salads so much from childhood that that's all I ever get. But their tortilla for it is so crispy and delightful. And then the meat and the cheese and sour cream and the black olives and the I get light tomatoes. And then that salsa. Mm. New air condition, overloaded outside breaker. Wait, you have power or you don't have power? Or you figured it out? Whatever. Now you're drooling. Jay, where is it you live again? You gotta have a taco casa near you. Oh, it is back on. That's good. Ooh, nothing like a good cold AC when you're sleeping. Mm. You get bundled up in your covers. Mm. I love it. Did our new friend, is he still here, Brandon? I don't know. Hmm. Look at that. That's what it looks like. Wait, let's find a better one. Oh yeah, look at that. Hang on. It was life changing. There it is. There's the super salad. Like I guarantee it looks exactly like that, but that's pretty damn close. Usually the cheese is more melty than that. But it's good. Holy crap. They've got 105. Wait, no, I think that's wrong. They got a bunch of taco casas. They got about 100 taco casas, it looks like. A lot of them at gas stations. But, whatever. Good old Azle. Azle, Texas. I used to live up the road from Azle. I went to school in Springtown. Oh, they got one in Oklahoma. And no, that's Normand. That's basically Texas still. That's like a weird like amalgamation of Oklahoma and Texas. There's another one in Oklahoma. And another one. And another one. And another one. Oh, there's one in Arkansas. Well, there you go. If you're in Arkansas, Oklahoma, or Texas, you can find a taco casa. Anyways, One of these days, we're gonna have to, if they ever do the Aquashella, um, if they actually do finally do the Aquashella here in Dallas, Jessica is gonna have to come out with um, Ed and the Zens, and we'll have to go. We'll get some food, and like, I think it'd be kind of cool to sit around and tell spoopy stories. That'd be kind of neat. I don't know, something. October. Is that when Aquashella is? Oh. Oh. On Halloween. Oh, that's awesome. They'd be right around Halloween. Yeah, that's. I mean, I don't know if I'll. If it's during the daytime. When's the 31st? Let's see. Is it a weekend? May, June, July, August, October. It's on a Saturday and a Sunday. So cool. If everybody gets here on the 30th, we'll go karaoke or something. I think we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Oh, are you coming too, Jay? Oh man. Yeah, I. Uh, there's damn good food out here. I've got Korean food. I've got burgers. I've got barbecue. I've got I mean, you name it. Um, Still haven't had LA burger. I'm not exactly. I had a smash burger. That was all right. Pizza joints. I mean, who cares about pizza joints? But like 1050, we'll probably go to 1050 barbecue. I think that's what it's called. Yeah. 1050. And everybody will spend too much money getting way too much food because that's just how it goes at barbecue. Um, yeah, yeah, we'll do that. And then maybe try some burnt rice, which is a Korean place. It's like fast food Korean, but it's really good. Um, and then like we might do it. We might have to do. We'll figure it out. I don't know, but yeah, I'll definitely show y'all some food spots. I want to try to get everybody to move to Texas because it's wonderful here. I mean, whatever. Yeah, there's lots of good food. So that's cool, I guess, about Aquashella, Sheila, whatever. Neato. I hope everybody's been healthy. Nobody's been sick or anything. Does anybody know anyone that has had corona? That's terrible. You could drive down and back. See? That would be awesome. If we get enough people here, we'll do a Chappy Fest or something. I don't know. Chappy Con or I don't know. We'll figure something out. It'll be fun. Oh, my neck. Oh. Let's see if we can find another story. Chappy Chat. Mom's work. People had it and they kicked a bunch of the ex-workers in Tennessee and people at therapy. Wait, what? Mom's work people had it and they have kicked a bunch out of work. Ex's work. Well, here's one. I don't know if I want to read this. Let me go smoke real quick. Oh, the virus stuff. That's really sad. Let me go smoke real quick. And I'll be right back. Let me walk this one. And yeah. Uno momento por favor. If anybody comes in, make them like, dude, you stay, because Chappy will be right back. You gotta do that with your finger, though. And I'll be in the chat. Misty, let's go outside. Oh, it says there's only 3 people left. Now it says 6. Oh, now it says 6. Come on. Yeah, let's go walkies. I don't know if that worked, but I need stories. You'll get stories. That's all you'll get. After I do something real quick. I don't know if that worked, but I need stories. I got you. Oh, I got Nexium. Awesome. Let's take one or two of these. Shoot, I don't remember. Alright, we'll go with one. Alright. Hey, dark fruit. Didn't mean to scare you. I meant to scare Jay, though. I'm just playing. Alright, let's do one real quick. It's called The Sixth Floor. Thou shalt love thy demon, for he hath damned thine self to the soul of thee. Waste not this gift of sacrifice, and purge in the flames of mercy. The corridors of the hotel still had the smell of laundry detergent and disinfectant. This smell, however, was obscured greatly by the overwhelming stench of ash. 3 months ago, there was a kitchen fire that spread quickly to the rest of the prestigious hotel. And rather than try to rebuild or renovate, the owners thought it better to simply collect the insurance money and sell the property. No one died in the fire, but that doesn't mean there aren't any ghosts to haunt these charred halls. It wasn't difficult to get in the place, about as hard as ducking under some yellow caution tape and kicking in a locked door. There were plenty of windows on the second floor that I could have reached with ease, but something told me that they had been used recently and that they should be avoided. The entrance I used wasn't even safe. 3 steps into the building and I nearly got my leg caught in a bear trap. Obviously, someone wanted intruders to be wounded or killed for their curiosity. For that reason, I resolved to proceed with the utmost caution. I pulled out a flashlight from my trench coat and began my search. The shadows dancing around the cone of white light before me. The first girl was found dead about a week ago, floating in a lake, her skin gray and sagging away from muscle. Degloving, the morticians called it. The forensic guys on the news said that she had been dead for about 3 days. Her throat slashed open and joints broken at sharp angles. The reason she was floating was because her lungs and stomach had not been flooded with water, and her skin slippage around her ankle allowed her corpse to loosen itself from the cinder block that had been weighing her down. The next day, when the lake was trenched for more evidence, 3 more girls were discovered at the bottom, each in a state of decay that would make even a sewage worker vomit. The city panicked. There was a killer on the loose. Every man a suspect, every woman a potential victim. A curfew was implemented. The police were scrambling to find any information on who this boogeyman was. How I managed to track this sick bastard to the hotel, well, that was pure luck. My main hobby is photography. Specifically, I like to take pictures of urban decay when the weather permits, usually at night. I rarely use the flash, as I prefer to set the shutter at its slowest speed to allow the maximum amount of light to imprint the film. There are other technical procedures I use for the lens adjustments and the tripod, but that's irrelevant to anyone but me. I just finished up a series of photographs, some abandoned farmhouse on the outskirts of town, and decided to move on to the fire-damaged hotel. Well, that and the police asked me to stay away from my farmhouse after the bloated girl was found. They suspected that a condemned house just outside of town would be a perfect place for the killer to hide, and they wanted to stake it out for a few locations, which turned up some potential evidence. So I moved on to the hotel. The first night I got some decent shots of the outside perspective style, outside broad shot, outside looking in, and the last is shot inside looking out. The pictures came out great. I love the way the smoke stains leaked from the 6th floor windows, and I was getting ready to move in for a closer view when I saw him. Climbing into the 6th floor window from the fire escape was a large man in a brown coat carrying a duffel bag. From where I was, I could tell he was about 6 feet tall, muscular, but a slight paunch. A white guy with a shaved head. I decided against staying to finish my work, not with some strange man roaming around the place. And I planned on returning later that week. That was a promise that I managed to keep. At the time, though, it never occurred to me that I saw the face of a monster. Not until tonight. Tonight was the night that I intended to return. About 15 minutes ago, I was prepping my gear to finish the photo run when the weather report on TV was interrupted by breaking news. Flash of a girl being forced into her own car at gunpoint outside the department store where she worked. A coworker managed to get a brief description of the kidnapper and promptly called 911. She told the police a tall man with a bald head wearing a brown coat jumped from behind a tree and threw no name into the passenger seat. As I heard the report, I got a deep, horrible sinking feeling in the base of my gut. The slow, creeping feeling that I was somehow to blame for being too stupid to spot the murderer. when one sits right in front of me. I had to do something. I dropped the camera gear and instead grabbed a flashlight, my cell phone, and a meat cleaver from my kitchen, just in case. Just in case I meet this sick piece of shit face to face. I got to the hotel about 3 minutes ago. Drove like a cheetah on crack to get there, too. I parked my car a block away and sprinted the rest of the distance. I kicked in a door about a minute ago. Why didn't I call the police immediately? Well, first of all, I needed to make sure that the girl was still alive, or at least here. The second reason, a little hard to explain, maybe I have a hero complex, or maybe I just wanted to make sure the guy suffers adequately before the cops get him, or maybe I have some sort of demon in me that saw a chance to get out. So here I am, running as carefully as I can down a burnt hallway looking for a girl who could already be a mutilated corpse. All the while her killer could pop out from around any given corner. I start up a flight of stairs, keeping at the edges to avoid falling through. Part of the stairs collapsed beneath my feet, but I grab onto the railing just in time. I shimmy the rest of the way up, till I find a way out later. Let's think left or right. Right. Down a new corridor so damaged by fire that all I see is black. So black that I almost think my flashlight went out. I taste charcoal and cough louder than I should. I hear a noise and my heart drops. I freeze in place. I don't move. I don't breathe. I just listen. Then I hear it again. No, not a man's voice. No, this is a sob of a woman. A woman crying alone and afraid. And I can tell that she cries only because she hasn't given up hope. I follow the sound to a room, one of the rooms that was used by those in need of rest and comfort. I see no light from the slit beneath the door. I turn the knob cautiously. A slow creak of the hinges prompts more stifled screams of pain. As my light floods the room, it's her eyes I see first, washed out and red from tears, so wide from pure terror that she looks less of a human and more of a wild animal backed into a corner. The rest of her body is stretched, naked and chained to a bed, her arms and legs covered in cuts, leaking blood into the mattress. Her mouth is choked with a ball gag, and from a brief glimpse, it appears that portions of her scalp are missing. Without a shadow of a doubt, she has endured obscene agonies within this last hour. She starts snorting and struggling when she sees me until I hush her. I'm gonna help you, I say, but you need to stay quiet. She isn't calm, but she understands that her nightmare is about to end. I search the rest of the room for signs of what have you. The desk next to the bed is littered with pliers and knives, but no key. I check the bathroom, nothing. Then I notice an orange extension cable leading from the window to a pair of floodlights in the corner of the room. He bought his own light source. But why risk it, I ask myself, turning away from the corner. I focus my attention on the closet. It was as I walked towards the closet door that the lights in the corner flicked to life. He's coming up the fire escape. Fast as lightning, I fling myself into the closet while simultaneously punching 911 on my phone. I get a hold of the dispatcher just as the closed door behind me, as I close the door behind me, leaving just enough of a gap to see the bed. What is the emergency? The voice on the line asks. The missing girl from earlier tonight. She's in the hotel on the corner of Street and 6th floor, room number 5B. Send an ambulance. I rush every syllable through a hushed panic and hang up before the officer can ask any follow-up questions. I haven't heard the window open yet, so I have the surprise on my side. My heart beats like a hammer. A bead of sweat rolls down my brow. Adrenaline saturates every muscle. The tendons stretch time across slow motion frame. Finally, after what felt like 1,000 years of waiting, I hear the window open, followed by 2 heavy footsteps, one after the other, and a short grunt. My fingers grip the handle of the cleaver while I hold my breath. Now, I can't see the girl. The man is blocking my line of sight, but her agonizing noises pick up again. I want to rush him now, but there's a voice in my head telling me to wait. It's a voice, but it's also not a voice. More like a deep rasping feeling of hatred. The words are unclear, but the meaning is inherent. It wants me to wait for the man to move closer to the closet. I hear the clicks of the padlocks, the footsteps turning towards the closet. I don't know what's in there with me, but it's something he wants. I raise the cleaver above my head, and his hand reaches for the doorknob. 1 heartbeat, then 2. The rasp in my head screams for the moment to come. It screams for what it wants. A haze of red tears apart my vision, heavy pants of rage. My shoulder vibrates with each hateful hack of sharpened steel into bone and flesh. What remains is no longer a man, but a pathetic failed excuse for a demon, a broken nightmare, a malfunctioned machine. There was no love there, only speckles of blood and an aftertaste of bittersweet vengeance. But the rasp is not yet satisfied. I can hear it begging for more. Not from within either. I can hear it all around me, from the walls, the floors, from down the hall. It's though as it were a part of the building itself. I wipe the reeve from my eyes. I start to smell smoke. The door I entered is too hot to open. What lies behind is burning to the ground. The fire will finish what it started, fueled by anger. It will consume all. I look to the girl and then towards the open window. She's still chained to the bed. There's still no key. If I leave her to burn, what will I become? What will I be? Any better than the perverted thing soaking in the carpet? If I choose what's left of my own humanity, the rasp for the sake of mercy, well, that's no choice at all. It's a damnation of love. After my arrest, the police told me that the keys were in the closet. Well, there you go. I don't know if I like that one. It was good, and then it went. Hey, Andy, how you doing, bud? Hopefully all is well for you. Jay, find me a ritual. I'm gonna search for one too. I'm probably gonna do one or two more stories. Hmm. The sounding of the fifth trumpet. Rule 34. Oh. Heard of the podcast lore? I'm not sure what that is. How to check if your home is haunted. Ooh, I like that one. I like the way that sounds. I need a link. Jay, can you put it in my Discord? You know what? We're low on moderators. Jay, you're now a moderator. You give me stories. Give me a link, please. Lore is the name of the podcast. Stories of real or near real spooky stories. Oh. Let's see if I can find it. Sometimes I can't stand people's voices. Which is why this is a very tough business, telling stories. You're trying to stay awake for me? Is this it? Oh, wait, hang on. I do appreciate you staying awake for me. I think Jay went missing. I don't know if he knows that he's now a moderator. Okay. The most dangerous games. How to check if your home is haunted. I subscribed. I will check it out tomorrow. I mean, I got a new book. I'll still try to check it out tomorrow. Notes. No, that's just for me. This simple method for how to check if your home is haunted isn't complicated, but as always, that doesn't necessarily mean it's safe. Either way, though, all you need to perform it is yourself, a chosen location, your house or home ideally, and a smartphone capable of recording video. Easy peasy, right? I've been unable to determine exactly where this ritual would originated. I found it on an Indonesian site. I believe it's earlier rendition. I don't care about that. We're gonna get past all that stuff. As always, play at your own risk. Players 1. Principle. Requirements. A home into which you have recently moved or plan moving soon. A smartphone device equipped with a high resolution camera capable of recording video. My TV's dirty. Begin at any time. Choose a room in your home to check. Hold your smartphone in hand and stand in the middle of the chosen room. Unlock the device and open up the camera. If the camera is not already set to function, using the rear facing lens, switch it to the mode now. If the camera is not ready to record video, switch it to this mode now. Hold the device in front of you with the rear facing lens facing out into the room and the screen facing yourself. Close your eyes and begin recording. Keep your eyes closed. While recording, rotate in place clockwise once, slowly. Keep your eyes closed. When you've completed one full rotation, open your eyes and stop recording. Save the video you have just recorded immediately. Most smartphones will automatically save these videos the moment you press stop. However, if this is necessary to do so, you may also have to save the video manually. Proceed to recording the second video. Turn the phone around so that the screen is facing out into the room and the back of the phone is facing you. Train the rear-facing lens on your own face. Do not use the front-facing selfie lens. You must use the rear-facing lens. Close your eyes and begin recording. Keep your eyes closed. While recording, rotate in place clockwise once, slowly. Keep your eyes closed. When you have completed one full rotation, open your eyes and stop recording. After the video you've just recorded immediately again, your device may do so automatically, although you may have to manually, if necessary, save it. As soon as you have saved the second video, leave the room immediately. Do not proceed to examining the evidence until you have safely exited the room. Examining the evidence. Once you have safely left the room in which you record the video, open the camera roll on your phone and watch the first video. Pay attention. Look closely. Make note of what you see. Now watch the second video. Pay attention. Look closely. Make note of what you see. After you have finished watching both videos, consider. If you see nothing unusual in either recording, your home has no additional occupants, or at least this particular room in your home has no additional occupants. Congratulations, enjoy your entity-free space. If you see anything anomalous in either or both recordings, your home has additional occupants. Tread carefully, for these occupants may not always be friendly or willing to share their space with you. Additional notes. Do not use a traditional camera or video camera, either analog or digital, to perform this ritual. You must use a smartphone with video recording capabilities. It is unknown why non-smartphone devices may not be used, but that is not recommended that you ignore the stipulation. Some sources recommend that the smartphone used to perform this ritual be any brand but Nokia. Should a Nokia device be used, the ritual will seemingly have no effect. It is unclear why this is the case. It is also not known, why the ritual must be performed with the rear-facing lens only. Again, though, this is not recommended that you ignore the stipulation. Oh, she's sleeping. Anomalies which may be observed in each of the videos indicating the presence of additional occupants include, but are not limited to, unusual shadows, particularly those without a clear or not identifiable source, pixelation of the video, whole in part, blurring of the video, in whole or in part, audio anomalies, visual noise or static, and or figures or anything else present to this video that do not exist in the physical room itself. It seems quiet? Yeah, maybe a little bit. Let me see if I can turn it up a little bit. Is that better? I don't know. Sorry. If your home contains multiple rooms, you may perform this ritual in each room. It may be necessary to do so in order to ensure that your home is completely free of additional occupants. However, do not record videos for multiple rooms at one time. Complete the ritual fully from start to finish, for each room individually before moving on to the next. If you live with other people, it is not necessary to clear the home of all others before beginning, but it may be wise to do so. This is both to ensure that the ritual itself is not interrupted and that you do not unwillingly put others in danger of allowing them to enter a room found to have additional occupants before said occupants have had time to calm down. Do not neglect to leave the room immediately following the conclusion of the two recording phases. If there are in fact additional occupants in the room with you, they may react poorly to having a camera thrust in their faces, or perhaps they're not faces, as the case may be. Ideally, vacate the entire home, not just the room, and watch the videos safely from another location. If you observe anomalies in either or both of the videos, do not return to the home until after sunrise the next day. If you live in a studio or a one-room residence, do not perform this ritual unless you have somewhere else to go after completing it. You don't want to be stuck in a single room with a group of angry occupants. Trust me. Well, that was a fun one. My video was acted up. Just checking the frame rate. But yeah. How's everybody doing out there? We're going to have to see if anybody's willing to try that. That'd be a fun one to try. Tired? Well, I might. I might end the stream. I'm going to do some stuff and try to go to bed. I'll do another spoopy stories tomorrow if y'all would like. Maybe we get a bunch of people in here. You're warming up White Castle burgers? The ones that, the frozen ones? We can see stuff in my room. Let me adjust my white balance. Damn it. There it goes. How is Chappy doing? That's the important question. I'm all right. Like I said, I left work a little bit early today, and then took a nap. But I'm fine now. Yeah. Oh, hell, let's do one more ritual. It referenced another one, the Mailbox Game. All right. Well, let's read this one. This one's called The Mailbox Game. What's wrong, puppy? Come here. Misty. She's scared or something. Come here. Misty. Come here. Misty. Come here. Come on. Oh, yeah. Come here. Come here, my big baby. Oh, my big old baby. Oh, my big old baby. We're going to tell a story together. Yes, we are. Oh, there she goes. Oh, don't slip off. You want to tell a story with me? You want to tell a story with me? Yeah? Oh, big baby. Anyways. Oh, you want to be on camera now, huh? Say hi to YouTube, Misty. Say hi to YouTube. Yeah. 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 She's being funny. Hang on, I got you. There you go. All right. 1 second, Misty dude. All right. Here's a story. Players 1. Principle. Requirements: a blank piece of paper, an envelope, a sterilized sharp object, matches or a lighter, A mailbox. See additional notes. It's at the bottom. Mailing the letter. Begin at any time. Gather all the supplies except for the matches and lighter and bring them to the mailbox. Once you have arrived, fix your gaze on the mailbox for approximately 6 seconds. Do not look away. Do not blink. You may count the seconds aloud if you like. Once the 6 seconds are up, place a blank piece of paper on the ground in front of the mailbox. You may now turn your gaze away from the mailbox if necessary. Using a sharp object, draw 1 drop of your own blood and allow it to drip on the piece of paper. Do not write anything on the paper. Wait for the blood to dry. Once the blood is dry, fold the piece of paper, place it inside the envelope, and seal the envelope. Do not address the envelope. Do not stamp the envelope. Place the envelope inside the mailbox. Turn around. Walk away from the mailbox. Do not turn back to look at the mailbox at any point during your departure. Go home. Live your life. Receiving the response. Wait 3 days. After the 3 days have passed, return to the mailbox. Bring the matches or lighter with you. Open the mailbox. Look inside. If the mailbox is empty, the ritual has failed. Do not proceed. Close the mailbox. Turn around and walk away. Do not look back. Do not attempt to perform the ritual again. If the mailbox contains a letter, the ritual has succeeded. You may proceed. Remove the letter from the mailbox. Take it to somewhere safe. Open it and read it. Read it carefully. Read it well. Reading your fortune. When you have finished reading the letter, use the matches or lighter to burn the letter and its envelope to ashes. Now wait. Be patient. It may take hours, days, or weeks, but in time, whatever you found in the letter will come to pass. The letter you see contains your fortune, the best fortune you could hope to have. Enjoy it. It will always be true until it's not anymore. Additional notes. The recommended mailbox style for use in this ritual is a United States Postal Service compliant curbside mailbox. This variety of mailbox is used both for outgoing and incoming mail and is therefore ideal for performing this ritual as originally specified. Other varieties of mailboxes that may also be used for both outgoing and incoming mail are acceptable as well. If using a USPS compliant curbside mailbox, do not put the red flag up after placing the letter in the mailbox. In the mailing the letter, Step 8. You wouldn't want your regular mail carrier to pick this letter up by mistake. However, the ritual may be adapted to fit the Postal Service options available in your area. You may, for example, use the post office box for mailing the letter. Should you do so, you may check the mailbox which you receive your own mail for receiving the response. It is unclear on how such adaptations might affect the efficacy of the ritual, but, well, nothing ventured, nothing gained. If there is a letter in the mailbox and receiving the response, do not fail to remove it. If there is a letter in the mailbox and receiving the response, step 4, do not fail to burn it after reading it. A warning. There are rumors that this ritual is not, as it first appears, a ritual for generating good fortune. There are rumors that it's instead a curse. That by dotting the letter with your blood, you are offering up a taste of yourself to something else. And if it or they find the taste appealing, let's just say that no amount of good fortune can help you now. Did y'all like that one? Are y'all gonna try it? It's real easy. How's everybody doing out there? Is everybody well? I hope so. You love that one. You'll definitely won't try it. Oh, don't be afraid. Oh, Lauren's sleepy. Hopefully, I'm putting you to sleep. Remember, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Still tired. Feeling better though. Been in self isolation for a week because you think you got the corona. Have you tried calling your medical professional? Mm-mm-mm. Cookie, cookie, cookie. Seriously? Then how do they know if you have it? They just mark you as having it and then just say, oh, it's another confirmed case? Well, I hope you're okay. Hey, Julie. Welcome to the stream. Awesome. I'm excited for you. Congratulations. Yours will test if you have symptoms. Oh. And you don't get paid unless you have sick time, right? Which, fair enough. Are y'all liking these rituals? I'm kind of enjoying them. I was thinking about starting to read SCPs. Y'all like SCPs? Well, right on. What is an SCP? They are, well, SCP stands for Secure, Contain, Protect. But essentially, they are, where's the milk? I know. I drank it already. I did. My tummy's been upset recently. And milk, although doesn't help, makes him feel better. Yeah, Lauren's got it. Yeah. So they read like top secret documents about. I've got 3 drinks. I've got a Pepsi. Y'all haven't seen me drink yet. Oh, I got soju. I'm not drinking that. I got sweet tea. And I got green tea. Yeah, I can give y'all a link. This is the SCP link. I might read a couple of those. But not tonight. I've got one. It's called The Most Dangerous Games, Purple Hearts. This one seems fun. Players. 1. Principal, the sleeper. 1. Partner, the guide. Bystanders, optional but recommended. Requirements: a dark, quiet room. A pillow, optional. Candles, optional. Matches or a lighter, optional. An audio recording device, optional. Instructions: sleeping. Begin at any time. Bring all the participants and any supplies being utilized to a dark, quiet room. Close the door behind you. Close the curtains, if any. Dim the lights, if any. If using the candles, set them up around the perimeter of the room. Light them using the matches or lighter, and instead of dimming the lights, turn them off entirely. Seat the guide cross-legged on the floor. If using the pillow, place it on the guide's lap. Position the sleeper such that they are laying down on the floor facing up, eyes closed, with their head resting on the guide's lap. If bystanders are present, seat them comfortably and quietly in a circle around the sleeper and the guide. If using audio recording, turn it on and begin recording. If you are the guide, place your fingertips on the sleeper's temples and begin to rub them in a slow, circular motion. If you are the sleeper, relax your body, keep your eyes closed, and concentrate on your breathing. Allow your thoughts to drift. When the moment seems right, begin counting backwards from 100 to 1. Once the sleeper begins counting, the guide and any bystanders present should begin chanting the phrase "Purple Hearts" quietly, rhythmically, and repeatedly. Sleeper, keep counting. If the sleeper falters or falls silent before reading the count of 1, the ritual has succeeded. The guide and bystanders cease your chant. You may proceed. If the sleeper reaches the count of 1, the ritual may not have succeeded. Guide and bystanders count your chant. Cease your chant before proceeding. Have the guide ask the sleeper if they are asleep. If the sleeper answers no, the ritual has likely not succeeded. Guide and bystanders cease your chant. Examine your sleeper's behavior carefully for confirmation. If their eyes are open, sit upright or otherwise behave as normally they do while they're awake, the ritual has not succeeded. Do not proceed. Extinguish the candles. Open the curtains, turn on the lights, and disband the group of participants. You may try again another time. However, if the sleeper's behavior is odd or uncharacteristic in any way, they may in fact be asleep, despite answering otherwise. Further questioning may be required from the guide in order to determine if the sleeper's true state. Suggested questions include, but are not limited to, inquiries about what they are, if they are not asleep, where they believe themselves to be, and what they believe themselves to be doing right now at that particular moment. Sleeper, if you are not asleep, do not pretend to be asleep. Answer honestly if you are still awake. If the sleeper answers yes, the ritual has succeeded. Guide the bystanders. Cease your chant. You may proceed. Dreaming. If you are the guide, now is the time to live up to your title. Guide the sleeper through their dream. Ask them where they are. Instruct them to describe anything they see, hear, taste, or feel, and otherwise experience. Have them narrate what they are doing and or whatever is happening around them. Encourage them with verbal prompts when necessary, but also listen. Listen to what they are telling you. Pay attention. When the sleeper begins to describe seeing purple hearts, it is time to wake them up. Proceed to wake up. Step 1. Waking. Guide to waking the sleeper Instruct them to reach out their hand and grab the purple heart. Once the sleeper has grabbed the purple heart in their dream, they should awaken in the physical world. Sleeper, when you've awakened, you may open your eyes and sit up. If using audio recording device, stop recording and turn it off. Extinguish the candles if using. Open the curtains, turn on the lights. Leave the room. Everyone. You may listen to the audio recording at your leisure. Note, if waking does not go as planned, see if waking fails. Additional notes. The presence of bystanders is recommended. The more voices chanting Purple Hearts during sleeping, steps 11 through 13, the better. During dreaming, a bystander may take notes on paper about what the sleeper describes if desired. However, any bystander present must remain quiet during this portion of the ritual as possible. You may perform this ritual as many times as you like, as long as waking does not fail at any point. If waking fails. If the sleeper says they are unable to grab the purple heart, or if they fail to wake up after doing so, the guide should describe to the sleeper. The guide should begin describing to the sleeper a door. Describe this door in as much detail as possible. Its height, its width, its color, its material, its age, its knob or handle, how it opens, whether it's a knocker, any detail that you can provide. Be sure to describe the door as unlocked, easily opened, and smooth on its hinges. Then instruct the sleeper that they may find this door within their current surroundings. Be firm and definite in this assertion. The door will be present and the sleeper will be able to access it. If the sleeper has troubles locating it, help them find it, describing to them exactly where it is in relation to themselves. Once they have found the door, instruct them to open it and step through it. Upon stepping through the door, the sleeper should awaken in the physical world. If the sleeper is unable to awaken at this point, make them as comfortable as you can. They may be there for a while. Anybody want to play a game? How y'all doing? Y'all doing alright? I'm just being weird, I'm sorry. Ooh, a cookie. Nice, Jay. Yay! What are you yaying, me being weird or finishing the story? Oh. You're not on a dating thing? Surely I don't understand what you mean. Good night, Miss Jessica Taylor. Sweet dreams and all that stuff. And I will talk to you tomorrow. You're still listening? I think I might head to bed soon. I don't know. Um, yeah, I'm being quiet. let's um, let's reconvene tomorrow. We'll tell some more spoopy stories. I think that'll be fun. Um, if anybody out there wants to be a member, I'd appreciate it. I just want to see the whole thing, like all creepy chappies down the side. That'd be awesome. Even the 99-cent would. Um, yeah, so we will come back to doing regular. I know I've been playing that game way too damn much, so we're gonna take a break from it. I mean, I'm still gonna play it, but not while I'm streaming. Not unless it's the weekend. I might have to find a new game to stream. Hmm. Something. I really want to play Alex, but I'm gonna have to set up my VR for that, and it's like $60. You'll inform everyone to join the stream tomorrow. Was someone streaming tonight? Well, I appreciate that. Maybe I can get back a couple lost subscribers. I mean, I can understand people got tired of the game, but as much as y'all might not enjoy it, here's a game that I want to play. Pam, you'll tell Pam. Yeah. God, I got it. It's $60 on the game. You like the art auction? I wasn't able to stay very long for the art auction. Or wait, I don't think I was there for art auction. I haven't been getting notifications for a lot of people. I'll have to go in and recheck everybody. Um, if you'd like to get a hold of me, you can do so on Discord or Creepy Chappy at Yahoo. Um, until next time, stay creepy. Um, have fun. Thank you to my Patreons and my members. And yeah, have a good night. Oh, she's streaming right now. I'll have to pop in. She emailed me actually. Oh, shoot. She asked me to join the stream. Oh, Dr. Black did one. What's Pam's, Jay, could you link me to Pam's? Because I can't find it. I know. I know. I might pop into her stream for a little bit. On camera. We'll see. But, I know she's I'm one of her subscribers. But it's really effing me here, and she changed her name. Subscriptions. Where's Pam? Thank you.
Buzzard. Now they have.
Thank you. I'm going to end this stream and head over there. I hope you guys join. I love you all. Stay creepy and have a wonderful night.